If your engine's hard to start, idles rough, or just isn't pulling like it used to, your spark plugs could be to blame. I'm Andrew Rosen, and today on Driven by Quality, we're upgrading to SKP Premium Iridium spark plugs built for extreme durability, sharper acceleration, and better fuel economy. Let's get to it. Today we're kicking things off with one of the most important, often overlooked components in your engine, the spark plug. It's small, inexpensive, and easy to forget about until something goes wrong. But make no mistake, a spark plug is a precision piece of equipment. Its job is to ignite the air-fuel mixture inside your engine cylinders, creating the combustion that drives your car forward. Without a healthy spark, your vehicle just won't perform the way that it should. So how do you know when your spark plugs are past their prime, or if they weren't great to begin with? Here are some telltale signs. Your engine is harder to start, especially on those cold mornings. You're getting rough idles or misfires when driving. Fuel economy starts dropping for no obvious reason. Acceleration feels sluggish and unresponsive, and you may notice more vibration or even knocking sounds under load. Poor quality spark plugs can also cause these problems even sooner, with weak electrodes, uneven firing, and poor heat dissipation, leading to faster wear and inconsistent performance. That's why quality matters, and why SKP Premium Iridium spark plugs are built to prevent all of those issues right from the start. First, let's talk about durability. These use an iridium alloy that's 6 times harder and 8 times stronger than platinum. That means they can last over 100,000 miles without a drop in performance. They're built to handle heat, and I mean extreme heat. The iridium tip and copper center electrode deliver consistent sparks even under the harshest engine conditions. They're also precision laser welded for maximum strength, so you're not going to see cracked or degraded tips like you might with lower end plugs. When it comes to performance, you'll feel it. Faster ignition, fewer misfires, sharper throttle response, and with a tapered platinum tipped ground electrode, you're also getting complete combustion, better cold starts, and improved fuel economy. Before you install spark plugs, there's one step you never want to skip: checking the gap. The gap is the tiny space between the center electrode and the ground electrode. This is where the spark jumps to ignite the fuel. Too narrow and you'll get a weak spark. Too wide and it might not fire at all, especially under load. For the 2011 Toyota 4Runner we're working on in this video, the proper spark plug gap is 0.044 inches. To check it, we'll use a spark plug gapping tool. Slide the gauge between the electrodes until it sits snug at that 0.44 inch measurement. If it's too tight, you can gently bend the ground electrode outwards. If it's too wide, you can carefully bend it inward. With SKP's Premium Iridium spark plugs, the gap is often correct right out of the box, but it's still smart to double check before installation. It's a small step that makes a big difference in performance and longevity. Let's look at a real-world example. Here's the old plug we just removed. Notice the worn-down electrode, the carbon buildup, and the discoloration from heat and combustion byproducts. Compare that to the brand new SKP Iridium plug. Sharp, clean edges on the tip, perfectly set gap, and a pristine insulator. That's the difference between a plug that's been in there too long or was never high quality to begin with, and one that's going to deliver optimal performance from day one. Before we get started with installation, here's what you'll need: a spark plug socket with a rubber insert or magnetic core, a ratchet and extension bar, a torque wrench to ensure proper tightening without over torquing, a spark plug gapping tool, as we mentioned earlier, and you'll notice that we also use a clip removal tool to make removing some of the clips holding down some of the pieces you need to remove to access the spark plugs. But this tool is optional and can often be achieved with a flathead screwdriver or even using your hands. Having the right tools makes the job smoother, and it helps to prevent damaging the threads or the plug itself.
Starting with the passenger side, our first step will be to remove the engine cover. It's simply held in with a little post and ball mount, so you just pull up on that and it'll come right off. Next, we will disconnect the mass airflow sensor and the air intake hoses. Remove the airbox assembly by removing the 10mm bolts and the 3 clips attaching the top of the airbox to the bottom of the airbox. Next, we will disconnect the air injection pump tubing from the exhaust. There are 2 10mm nuts and 2 10mm bolts holding that in place. Next, we will unbolt and remove the air pump and push it to the side. There are 3 12mm bolts holding that in place. Next, we will remove the connectors that are attached to the ignition coils. Then we will remove the 10mm bolt holding them in place, and then the ignition coils will go ahead and slide right on out. Next, we will use a spark plug socket to remove the spark plugs. Next, we will install our new spark plugs. We're going to tighten them down as close as we can by hand and a quarter turn tight on our ratchet, and then we will attach a torque wrench and tighten these down on this specific vehicle to 13 pounds per foot. Now that we have the spark plugs installed, we will reinstall the coils, the wiring, the air pump, and the air box back into place. That will complete our work on the passenger side. Now we are on to the driver's side. First, we will remove the 2 air hoses that are blocking access to the ignition coils. There is a small 10mm bolt attached to the bracket holding the air hoses in place. We will remove that bolt and be able to now push the air hoses to the side. The bolt that was holding the air hose bracket in place was attached to another black metal bracket that attaches from top to bottom with 2 10mm nuts. We will remove that bracket. Once the bracket is out of place, you will go ahead and disconnect all of the connectors from the ignition coils. Once the connectors are removed, remove the 10mm bolts holding the ignition coils in place. Once the bolts are removed, the ignition coil should slide out. We will do the same thing as on the passenger side. Using a spark plug socket, we will remove the spark plugs. Now that everything is out, we can go ahead and get our new spark plugs in. Same thing as on the passenger side. Using a torque wrench, tighten those down to 13 pounds per foot, and then we will reinstall the ignition coils by reattaching the 10mm bolts, reattaching the wiring for the ignition coils, and then reattaching the first black metal bracket, and then we will attach the bracket holding the air pump hoses in place, and then we are complete. The final step will be to reattach the engine cover.
With SKP Premium Iridium spark plugs, you're not just replacing a worn part. You're upgrading your ignition system with extreme durability, maximum heat resistance, and precision engineered performance. That means a smoother start, sharper acceleration, better fuel economy, and peace of mind for the next 100,000 miles. You can trust SKP to get the job done right. Ask for SKP at your local parts counter, online at your preferred source for auto parts, or visit us at skywardautomotive.com to learn more. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more product walkthrough and installs. I'm Andrew Rosen, and this has been Driven by Quality. See you next time.